Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about workflow and the kind of workflow I do for kind of drawings and commissions. And yeah, hopefully you're going to learn a lot. If you kind of like drawing yourself, it definitely relates. But during that I'm going to be working on this just so you're not staring at a blank page. And there you go. So let's kind of get into the discussion. If you do like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe, by the way. I do these talks about once a week. And yeah. So really fast, I'm going to talk really quick about workflow. When you start learning how to draw anything, right, you start to become, the first thing you got to do is become dependent on learning, right? And I mean learning the exact basics of what you're doing. There's no after you learn, because you're going to be learning your entire career. You're going to be getting better at stuff. You're going to be trying stuff out. But there is going to be a point where most of your learning curve is in the first like 2 to 3 years. And then after that, you'll probably see very little improvements over the next, the following years. It can kind of go in, waves, essentially. I know for me, the only thing that saved me was having a workflow, right? So I got really good in the first 2 years. That's where most of my improvement came from, meaning I learned my structure, I learned what I needed to do, pretty much. I learned, the anatomy, the perspective, all of that stuff was in the first 2 years. Shading, all that stuff. After that was more of a mental battle for me personally. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me it was way more of a mental thing after that. It was kind of like I could have gotten better faster after that, but I just kind of couldn't. I just kind of hit this stagnant point I just could not get out of. And I've heard that's pretty common, to be honest. I've heard that from a few people, because I see online like a lot of people got these mental hang-ups with art, as well as all the technical ones. And I still got them, by the way. I still have a few with painting, so I'm just trying to become better at painting, and definitely still have some hang-ups there. But what you need is a workflow, right? You need to, so what I do as far as like drawing and stuff, I have my warm-up sketchbook, like I mentioned in that other video. Go check that video out if you haven't. I talk about having 2 sketchbooks, a crummy one and a good one. One that you just mess around with, one you mess around in, like a warm-up, and then the other one where you do actual serious stuff, where you want to show off your sketchbook to somebody. And I'll show off my practice sketchbook when I'm done with it. It's full of junk, honestly, but I'll give a sketchbook tour when I'm done. And it's going pretty quick, so I mean, I might have showed part of it in the other one, but I'll show you the rest of it later. This sketchbook is more of like a kind of a half and half, honestly. There's a bunch of junk in it. I'll show it. I'll show you guys this one when it's done too, but there's a lot of junk in it as well. So, but there's a lot of good stuff as well in this one. I kind of like it. Like I like this page I'm working on. This is Godzilla up here, and then down here it's like a I forget what kind of dinosaur this is, eating an herbivore or attacking an herbivore. I forget what kind of dinosaur that is. Right now I'm just inking Godzilla for the most part to make it a lot more solid on the page. Love these brush pens, by the way. So the workflow thing is really just kind of a work schedule, right? Draw every day. Even if you're like, oh, I don't have any time, I work. Draw 20 minutes, keep a sketchbook, go on your break, and draw in your car or something like that. You're gonna see these improvements without even really knowing it at some point, because like I said, after you kind of generally learn all this stuff, you have to commit it to your brain and all that through actual practice, and that's just not gonna happen on its own. So you're gonna have to really find a time in the day, even if it's 20 minutes on your lunch break. Just doodle shapes. Draw people you see in cafes or something. Just draw people from your mind if you can. But mostly you get better from drawing like stuff from life, right? So if you're like in the parking lot of your job, find like a tree and start drawing that. It's going to teach you to kind of hone your eye in, and it's going to help you get a lot better. Because kind of looking at stuff and being able to place it down is a big part of drawing. Even if you're doing an illustration, you're trying to make things look, believable, and that stuff, that stuff comes from real life. So I would definitely go there. But yeah. So I would just kind of make it a a habit, make it a schedule, make it a process. And if you want to do certain things and you just don't have time, do what I'm doing. If you have more time, do what I do, which is I warm up for about 20 or 30 minutes every day, and then I start trying to do whatever project I want to do that day. So if it's digital painting, I'll do that. Right now it's digital painting. I'm trying to get better at Procreate. I'm kind of crummy at the technical part of it, so I'm trying to learn that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to sketch on that every day right now. And I got like a flow, right? That first day you do it, it's like, man, this is hard. You're like, man, this is hard. I'm like, this is so slow, and it feels like you're using so much brain power, right? When you do something, like even just sketching with a new tool, I feel. And then if you do a little bit every day, if you say, yo, I'm gonna do this, you know, I said yo, huh? But if you let's just say you commit to doing an hour every day on Procreate or whatever right now I'm doing, it's gonna get slowly easier and easier. And sometimes that's not even the technical parts of it. Sometimes it's that mental hang-up that you have that just goes away. You just don't, that mental hang-up starts to like fade, and then pretty soon you're not using as much mental energy on something, and it's quicker. You're like, oh wow, that was really fast. Or you do it and it takes a certain amount of time, but you're still fresh in your mind. You're still like, you know what, this is pretty good. You know, you still feel pretty fresh about that stuff. So you want to, you know, just kind of do stuff in order to get rid of that hang-up, pretty much, if that makes any sense. And the problem with this is that you're not really going to know what this feels like until you do it. So if you know what I'm talking about right now, please comment. It's a weird feeling, and it's one of those things where you don't believe it until you actually do it, right? You don't believe it until it actually, you start implementing it, you start doing it every day, and you're like, oh yeah, this is getting easier. What is it? Right? You don't have that hang up, just kind of like, I don't want to do this. You know, that feeling just kind of goes away. Or, oh, this is going to take too long to prepare. But, yeah. Also, anyways, that's pretty much it on that topic. I'm going to try to go live more often. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live here on another channel. Probably live here. What I want you to do is to, if you don't know where to go, and you're like, hey, I've been drawing for a little bit, but I still have like certain hang-ups, for example, like shaky hands, right? That's a really common one. I have shaky hands, what do I do? If you're like that, or you don't know where to start, right? And I have videos on where to start. Go check those out on the channel. What I want you to do, if you, let's just say you still don't know where to start, you stumbled onto this, you don't know who I am. I've been a professional for about 16 years. Go to sketchingeasy.com and go click on that dragon, and there's a beginner drawing program. So drawing is two parts, right? Number one, it's the physical aspect of pulling a line, right? For example, when you're writing, right, you got like, you anchor yourself on kind of this part of your hand, and the range of motion is pretty small. But when you're drawing, like if I had to pull that stroke before, see if I'm doing something like this, I'm like kind of moving at the elbow and shoulder here, so it's a different thing, you know. It's all these things, it's all these muscles in my arm and elbow that I never used, at least in a way to control it that way. I mean, maybe used it for sports and all that, but I'm saying, you know, and picking stuff up. But as far as like the precision to do that, that's a different thing, and that's what I talk about. And the thing is, that's why you would have shaky hands, if anybody has that right now that's watching this. And people don't know this, but that's like the easiest thing ever to get rid of. Like, I mean, you can probably get rid of it like in 3 weeks or something, easy, maybe 2 weeks. And I give you those exercises, and they're free, by the way. That's why I'm saying go to sketchingeasy.com. That's the official website. I'm gonna be throwing a lot of good stuff on there. sketchingeasy.com. Go over there. It's not even like a sign-up thing. It's literally just embedded, you know, YouTube videos that are not, you know, they're unlisted normally. But go check that out, sketchingeasy.com, and then on the front page, click on the dragon. It has these beginner stuff, and you can even mail me the exercises, and I can give you my feedback on that. But a lot of it is generally the same. It's controlling your hand. Anyways, that was a big ramble. Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for hearing me out. I ramble a lot. That's why I might go live soon. But that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you next time. And I'm going to post on here once a week at least. Mostly talks like this. If there's any other topics you want to see, let me know and I'll put them on here. But that's pretty much it, okay? See you later. Talk to you soon. Arrivederci.